number 2 VR Commodore heads the field alongside Lee Watkins in the 47 EF Falcon. The next row sees Richard Howe, who qualified in 3rd, with the championship winner of 2 years ago, Matthew White, in car 28. Shane Houlahn's a further row back with Tony Malley in the number 16 VN Commodore. Anthony Leitch starts from position 7. Darryl Speers is in 8th. On row 5, the only female in the field, Nic Prety, sister of pole sitter Nathan. Alongside Nicole is Tim Dumbrell. Armin Schade will start from position 11. In the number 7 Commodore, Sean Henshelwood. John Agosta starts from position 13 alongside Edward Woods in car 55. And on the last row, Lee Moran and defending champ Darren McDonald, who recently broke his wrist and could find the going a bit tough this afternoon. Let's get into the action. Our commentators, Gerald McDornan and Phil Branagan.
We have got 15 Auscars running door handle to door handle, bumper to bumper, all in readiness for this great 80-lap race.
We sure do. Nathan Prety's there on pole position, the black Commodore, the Dewalt entry. He's looking a little bit antsy because he's got a Falcon alongside him, Lee Watkins. These were the 2 fastest men in qualifying earlier today, and I wouldn't want to bet behind about any of the cars behind them either. There goes the safety car. John Mostini, our starter, gives him the green flag, and that was a fantastic jump from Nathan Prety.
A great start for the Dewalt Tools team, and Leigh Watkins settles into 3rd. Richard Howe's made a move already in the number 11 Ferntree Gully Bolts Ford Falcon. The Falcons showed a great turn of speed here at the Goodyear Thunderdome last season, but Nathan Prety, who ended the season in a NASCAR last year, has come back hard in the Dewalt Tools Commodore, and he says this is the year in Auscar that he believes he can take out the championship. These are small block Houlahn and Ford V8 engines running on carburetors, and the tyres, Phil Branagan, in the Auscars are Goodyear Eagle Street tyres.
Yes, they certainly are, and there's our race leader, the Dewalt Commodore. He leads. Nathan Prety, car number 2, ahead of Lee Watkins. Then it's Dick Howe in 3rd place. White is up to 4th place ahead of Shane Houlahn. Tony Malley, a rookie in this Auscar class, but a guy who's shown a lot of speed in sportsman racing, already up into 6th place.
Joining us in the commentary box for the first...
The cars aren't that difficult to drive when it's handling properly. He's just made a very nice passing move, one of the back cars.
That's Tim Dumbrell. He's just gone by the Bendix Houlahn Commodore. So McDonald looking fairly good at the moment in that 44 car. But as you say, if the cars are driving well, if they're handling well, there's no problem. A little bit of smoke coming.
Ford cat amongst the Houlahn pigeons, and the relative merits of the Houlahns and the Fords have been argued about for some time, and Marshall Brewer, guest commentator, knows all about that as the Ford goes in, and somebody's lost, it looks like they've actually lost the tread off a wheel, and that's Henshelwood's wins Commodore.
Yeah, Sean Henshelwood, the number 7 wins Kmart Commodore, appears to be pulling up on the back straight there somewhere. And what a scary moment that must have been. He's pulling down onto the inside, onto the grass, and I would expect we're going to see a yellow caution around the outside of Matthew White as they come onto the main straight.
In the meantime, there's been a change of the lead because Watkins has moved through in the red Falcon, so he's taken over the point from Nathan Prety. So they go 1-2. Howe and White going at it hammer and tongs for 3rd and 4th place. And just waiting to see. It doesn't look like there is going to be a yellow flag at the moment. They've decided that the Henshelwood car obviously is far enough away from the racetrack not to cause a problem. Still have any sort of lubricant out there on the racing track.
And here is McDonald now out into the pit area, or into the pit
of 80, so 1/5 race distance. And there's our leader, Watkins, from Nathan Prety, Dick Howe and Matty White in 4th position.
In fact, Matty's about to make a move on Dick. If he can get under him going into turn 1, he'll have him, and I'd say he certainly will get under him. Yes. Should be able to get back on the power early. Should be able to drive away, but that big Ford and the power of the Ford has just pulled straight up beside him again, and now leading.
Yeah, Dick Howe on screen there in that silver number 11 Falcon, and it has huge amounts of power. Let's go through the top 4, and it is Lee Watkins, Nathan Prety, Dick Howe, and Matthew White.
Surprisingly enough, the Dewalt car with Nathan Prety has been able to keep up very, very well with Lee's car, keeping fairly close proximity to him and putting a fair bit of pressure on him too, just quietly. And I think
and the battle's still going on between the 2 cars behind. So we've got 2 very intense battles here, Marshall. We're nearly 20 laps down, so nearly a quarter of the way through the race. Obviously, though, on a day like today with conditions that they are, clear skies, plenty of temperature, the Goodyear Eagles street tyres don't take long to wear. Watkins, and what a happy guy this guy was last year when he claimed Goodyear Thunderdome. White now starting to pressure Nathan Prety right on the back bumper of the Dewalt Tools car, the Maxi Cube Freighter 28 Commodore. And Matthew White, like yourself, Marshall, looking to make the move up into NASCAR, and in fact competed at the Bathurst race and did a great job.
Yes, he did a marvellous job there for his first event in NASCAR, coming third at the Mountain. Absolutely marvellous start for him. And I think it won't be too much longer before we see some more pressure being applied to Nathan. I think Nathan might be starting to push a little bit. You can see how Matthew drives up under him, in them regularly, which was proven last year. And if we look at the gap now with Lee Watkins' brand new Falcon, it's really pulling away and making a huge gap on the Nathan Prety car, and of course Matthew White.
Currently, Lee Watkins leads out in front with that Ford Falcon. He is 2.2 seconds ahead of Nathan Prety, and Matthew White is right on the bumper bar of Prety, just 0.2 of a second. Richard Howe is back 5 seconds from our leader and 3 seconds from Matthew White. And Tony Malley, who's moved up in the 16 Commodore, currently in 5th spot, 13 seconds away from our leader, and 7 seconds away from the number 4 car.
There's our race leader, the 47 Ford Falcon, as Gerald just said, pulling away from the front of the pack now, up to 2.5 seconds. But look at this great Commodore battle between two of the young guys, Nathan Prety and Matthew White, absolutely going at it hammer and tongs. So it's a bit of a Commodore sandwich at the moment. Ford's first, Ford's fourth, but the Commodore's right there in second and third place.
Well, one guy that unfortunately won't be able to give a
little bit harder on their tyres than some of the Commodores, and now we're starting to see Watkins maybe losing a little bit of tyre speed in comparison with the Commodores.
Amazingly, the quickest car out on the track at the moment is Dick Howe in that number 11 Ford Falcon, the Ferntree Gully Bolts car. Look at the battle going on here between Darryl, Speers and the 31 Houlahn Commodore and Nicole Prety. And this is a great battle. These two have been at it all day. We're 44 laps down and 36 remaining. Speers trying to push her up high, coming out of turn number 2. He does, and he tries to edge the nose of the I&V Truck Repairs car in front. Will it happen as they hit down the pitters, back straight? And it's worked. The tactics worked, and he's gone through to take position number 7 away from Nicole Prety.
Well, Nicole wanted to have a bit of an argument about that on the exit. She seems also very comfortable on that higher line. So Speers waves his way through and says thanks very much for that position. And car number...
So is our leader Lee Watkins is headed down in the 47 Ford Falcon, the red car. There he goes there. He's going to change some tyres and maybe a little bit of fuel. The top 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars are in the pit lane. And this is where the action starts to happen with the Goodyear Auscar category. There goes Nathan Prety. He's in the pit lane, and it is happening now.
There's our race leader, Watkins, his crew. There's the Prety crew, and of course they can't pit both Prety cars. They've got the one crew, 2 cars to service. So Nicole's still out there on the racetrack. There goes Watkins.
A fantastic stop for Lee Watkins. Will keep his position on the track, and Matthew White got out just ahead of Nathan Prety. So 1, 2 and 3 will remain the same. Obviously, if Matthew White had made it out just a split second earlier, Phil, ahead of Lee Watkins, he would have been in first spot. That's what it's all about.
It was very close. The pit stops there was something like 20.
This will be a ripper. Here we go. Tim Dumbrell stayed out there in the Bendex car. He currently leads ahead of Eddie Woods. But here we go. Cars are already charging. And where's Lee Watkins? He's gone right back down the field.
Lee Watkins didn't take his place in the queue. He didn't take his place. There's 2 queues at a restart. One for the cars on the lead lap and one for everybody else. And Watkins forgot to take his position. And he's been jumped.
Joking.
He must have.
Wow. I was wondering, where is the 2 queues? There are cars that have been lapped. All of a sudden, we had 1 queue. Lee Watkins, the 47 car, has gone backwards, and Matthew White is out in front with Nathan Prety right in his tail, and Watkins is back in 5th.
So the new order is actually White leading in the 28 car. Nathan Prety is second. Speers has moved all the way up to third. Tony Malley in his first Auscar race is in 4th place. Then it's Lee Watkins, the man who led before the round of pit stops and actually had the fastest pit stop. And there he is in the red Falcon. He's back in 5th ahead of Dick Howe. And then it's Leitch and then Nicole Prety rounding out the top 8.
Well, what an amazing restart. And it was very interesting indeed. Experienced Auscar racers have been swamped at the start, and on the restart and that's not normally what we expect. Nic Prety is actually headed towards pit lane again, actually been brought in and sent back out there. I don't know what that was all about.
She might have.
Of the Goodyear Auscar category, Nathan Prety almost on his tail, and here comes Lee Watkins on the inside of Darryl Speers, the 47 Ford Falcon, looking for the way by, and he's going to take third away from Darryl Speers. Speers has, in the pit stops, Phil, jumped from 8th spot up to third, and now he has gone back to 4th, but not a problem.
If Watkins is showing some car speed at the moment, he is without question the fastest man on the racetrack, and he's also mad. He's furious. He's probably not quite sure himself what happened in that reshuffle for the restart, and now he's up into 3rd place, and he's showing an enormous amount of speed. He's got about 2.2 seconds between himself and the race leader, and we've got a car stopped on the main straight. That's Dick Howe's, and yellow flags are flying.
Yeah, Howe has had contact with the wall. The Ferntree Gully Bolts car has smacked it in. The Ravana car all of a sudden has gone from being fast to not in good flag yet again, with 12 laps remaining around the Goodyear Thunderdome in the Goodyear Auscar category, with Matthew White currently leading.
And the 3 fast guys all made very good restarts. There's our race leader, White, who's already managed to put about 4 or 5 car lengths between himself and Prety in the number 2 machine, the Dewalt Commodore, and big bad Lee Watkins in the red Falcon right there in 3rd place. And this is going to be a sprint now all the way to the checkered flag.
Darren McDonald currently in 14th spot there, not challenging for the lead in that 44 car, or even a major position that we saw in. He's about 8th there on track, but in fact 14th in actual spots. There's Matthew White coming out of turn number 2, up along the Petters back straight, starting to handle good. Look at Nathan Prety's car. It is starting to push through those turns as well. It's understeering, and in fact that's where Nathan Prety is losing any space that he had over Lee Watkins.
But Watkins will be thinking to himself now, I don't want to spend too much time behind Nathan Prety, because if I'm going to win this race, I'm going to have to get past Prety pretty quickly, excuse the pun, and get up there with Matty White, the race leader. There is Prety, and also there's been a moment there for the 31 car. Looks like Speers has lost some time somewhere on the racetrack.
Yeah, Speers has actually had a bit of a spin and kept on going, which is a shame. Darryl was in 6th position as we've got, here comes Watkins on the inside line of Prety and takes in 2nd spot. Here he comes. There's Lee Watkins, White there, and really starting to jump and scream and shout. Can he catch Matthew White? We've got 4.5 laps remaining around the 1.8 kilometre Goodyear Thunderdome.
And he's got clean air between himself now and the race leader, who's still White. His crew will tell him now Watkins is in 2nd place. White will have been thinking Watkins do it.
Well, it looks to be the white flag is waving. We're on the last lap. Matthew White is out in front. No traffic in front of him anymore. He appears on his way to victory lane in the 28 Maxi Cube freighter trailers car. He is trucking on to victory lane. No doubt about that. Matthew White, the 96-97 Auscar champion, appears out of turn number 4 for the last time onto the main straight, and here he is, our winner, the young champion himself. Matthew White takes the win ahead of Lee Watkins. Nathan at the Goodyear Thunderdome for the Goodyear Auscar race, and what a fabulous result for Matthew White. The freighter trailers 28 car takes away the win. Lee Watkins in 2nd spot, Nathan Prety in 3rd spot in another one of the Commodores. Tony Malley, Anthony Leitch, Nic Prety, fabulous 6th finish. Waving and racing is underway at the Goodyear Thunderdome for the Auscar category, and we have also got, to make things interesting this race, a minimum 2 tyre change pit stop required on a green lap between laps 20 to 30 of this 50-lap race.
And that's going to be interesting to see exactly what happens. Will everyone come in together, or will some of the teams take a punt and try and get their guys in early or late in that pit window? They're 1 lap down, and here comes the field. A clean start for everyone as far as the lack of accidents was concerned, and White leads them through in the 28 freighter machine.
16 Auscars on the racetrack at the moment. Good to see Nigel Benson back in the field there, the 04 car, a former Auscar winner at Adelaide International Raceway. with his red Commodore, but Matthew White, Lee Watkins, Nathan Prety currently leading the field round turns 3 and 4, and onto the dog leg. They're right on the pedal now and onto the main straight. There goes White.
In the back of the pack, because a young guy making his first race on the Thunderdome and in Auscar racing this weekend. Car number 7 is Paul Dumbrell, running for Wins Racing. He started on the back row of the grid. He's already up into 7th position. He's 16 years of age, and he's already got himself a Formula Houlahn for racing in the 1999 Australian Drivers' Championship.
And joining us for the first time in commentary here at the Goodyear Thunderdome, and we must say a big welcome to V8 supercar star Jason Bargwanna. Jason, you've had some good races at Calder, but mainly on the flat track. Obviously, the Goodyear Thunderdome's a totally different racing circumstance.
Yeah, I can say it's a totally different circumstance, I've got to say. G'day, guys. How you going? Thanks for letting me be here.
Yeah, good to have Jason Bargwanna there. We just got a shot of Dumbrell. He is absolutely flying at the moment. One of the most impressive debuts we've seen early in this race. No pre-race nerves. Jason, you've done a lot of road racing. What would your stomach be like if you were having your first race in an Auscar on the Goodyear Thunderdome?
Oh, it'd be nerve-wracking, I've got to tell you, because you watch these guys. It's so competitive out here, and it's really tough racing. And to the age of, you know, to be doing it on your first time out here is quite it'd be a hard thing.
What were you doing when you were 16, Jason?
I'm not telling you.
dreaming of racing here at the Goodyear Thunder.
Paul Dumbrell on screen at the moment. He's now going under the inside. No, he just tucks in behind Nic Prety, and the 16-year-old in the Wins Commodore doing a terrific job. Puts the pedal to the metal coming out of turn number 4 onto the dogleg front straight, and he has that Wins Commodore absolutely flying. Now Darren McDonald is right on his tail as well, the reigning Auscar champion in the 44, Christian Holden Power Mac Commodore.
Well, there's nothing like jumping to the deep end, is there? I mean, I've been watching him for the last couple of laps, and he's been holding Darren off quite well, and Darren's obviously coming from the back of the field there, but Paul's obviously doing a great job, and he's pulling away from Darren.
He's been racing karts for a number of years. He's got a very good karting pedigree, stepping into Formula Houlahn, as I said before, in the 1990s.
I can tell you, I'd hate to be out there in your first race with a defending champion right behind you.
Darren McDonald looking for the inside line under young Paul Dumbrell. McDonald here has been racing for a number of years, has won championships in both the Sportsman and Auscar category, and in fact he now goes past Dumbrell and pushes him back to position number front, trying to pull that Commodore back. Doesn't look as though it's happening at the moment. Matty White has this race under control. 13.5 laps down in this 50-lap Auscar race.
Well, they're slowly pulling him in. I think it's going to be a while before they catch him, but they're slowly pulling the leader in, and I think you can see Nathan really working hard over the back of the Ford there, and hopefully he can get through and get on with it.
And it's unusual to see one car go away and build this sort of gap as quickly and as easily.
Start going backwards, so you've got to take into account what's going on. You've got to look at the length of the race and work out when your pit strategy is all about, and you know, look at the situation and go from there. But as they're catching the lap traffic, it makes it a lot interesting, I can tell you now.
We're on lap 17, so very soon that pit window will be opening. Anytime after lap 20, they will be coming in for their compulsory pit stops, and the crews will have to take off 2 tyres and wheels and put on 2 fresh tyres to go to the end of this 50-lap race.
You just see that, like, White's worked really hard in the first start of this race, and they've caught traffic, and he's lost that advantage straight away. So, I mean, it's going to be a bit about setting your race up and working with your strategy and making sure you keep out of trouble and being right there at the end.
We're only 2 laps away from that window opening for these guys to come in and make that compulsory 2-tyre change here, the Goodyear Thunderdome in the Auscar category. But it is Matty White just ahead of Lee Watkins at the moment. Between laps 20 and 30, every car in the field must pit and change 2 tyres. So Matty White on lap 18 to come in and make his change.
Yes.
Yeah, here he comes. Lee Watkins is coming in. Now that window has opened up. It is lap 20, or 20 have gone down. So Watkins has planned to come in very early indeed.
But Jason Bargwanna, he hasn't covered the leaders, and that's interesting.
Yeah, well, the other thing I take note of there, Darren McDonald was the fastest car on the circuit for a while there, and he's also come in right on the start of the pit window, so he's in the pit lane as well.
There they go, hard at work, of course. No centre lock wheels on these Ford Falcon and Commodore Auscars, and away they go. That was a very rapid stop A 14-second stop there for the Ford Falcon team, and that's good to see. And now White on pit lane, race leader in car number 28.
Darren McDonald also pulling out of pit lane. He came in on the same lap as Lee Watkins. So Matty White sprayed a Maxi Cube team over the wall with 2 spare tyres. The rattle gun's going at 2 million mile an hour. That 2-pump jack puts the car right up in the air. The new tyres are going on. They're the buff Goodyear Eagle road tyres, what you and I can have on our family cars at home. And Matty White is out 17 seconds. So that means that Lee Watkins' team got him out 3 seconds quicker.
That 3 seconds makes a really big difference out in a circuit like this, especially when you're lapping around the 31-second mark. As you can imagine, 3 seconds is a big difference.
But it won't necessarily translate to a change of position, because your in-lap speed and your out-lap speed is very important.
Yeah, I noticed that, but if you look onto the back straight from where we're sitting, we can see Nathan Prety is currently leading, and Lee's chasing him down right now. So obviously he's going to be in a good position when Nathan stops.
There's Tony Malley, car number 16. His crew working very hard, and Nicole Prety just went past him in pit lane. So Nathan will not be making an early pit stop. He'll be staying out for a couple more laps. And in fact, White is really caught up behind him at the moment. So Prety leads. Malley is in second place. Dumbrell is being shown in third position in car number 7. A 23-second stop for Malley.
Well, of course, there are caution periods that could come into play as well that can destroy any advantage that you may have gained during the green pit stop. And that must be taken into account at the moment. There's the 96 car of Shane Houlahn. He's out onto the track again, and Nathan Prety is currently leading in the number 2 Dewalt Tools car. Matty White now going under the inside of him, and Matty White, of course, is a lap or 2 down. I would say 2 laps down. Yeah, he's 1 lap down, most definitely, and just taking that back, Nathan Prety must head to the pit area with a Dewalt Tools Goodyear Commodore. Now heads down pit lane in the 2 Dewalt Tools Commodore, and the young Wodonga resident goes straight to his pit lane. The crew jump over the wall. You watch the jack. It will take just a few pumps to actually get the car up off the ground.
Geez, the adrenaline will be pumping in those guys' hands there at the moment, putting those wheels on. It'd be all happening.
And the Goodyear Eagle tyres come off. You see that the wheel nuts there, they're actually glued to the alloy wheel. They're stuck in place. The car's Thunderdome in the Auscar category. On this 50-lap race, we have got 28 laps down, and that Ford Falcon is just marching on. Phil Branagan and Jason Bargwanna in the commentary box, and Jason, that Ford looks the goods at the moment.
Well, it certainly does. It seems to be pulling a little bit away from Whitey there, so he's obviously got a good package. That pit stop went very well for them and gave him a bit of advantage. Now he's leading the race and getting on with it, and hopefully can pull away to the end.
It helps you, and sometimes it doesn't.
Well, we saw earlier where it obviously was worked against Whitey, and now it's working for him. So he's obviously in a situation. I mean, 50 laps is a long way around here, and you've got to take advantage of what you can while you can. But it's all going to come down to those last few laps, and you just got to put yourself in a good position and take advantage of what you can when it's happening.
Any desire on your part to get into an Auscar or maybe a NASCAR sometime and race on the Dome?
Well, with Jimmy at Bathurst, we had a good talk about it. Obviously, the NASCAR, he's very experienced at it and proven he can do it.
Yellow flag has just been shown at the start-finish line. Debris has been spotted in turn number 2. So the positions at the moment are Lee Watkins is our race leader from Matthew White. Then it's Nathan Prety. McDonald is in 4th place.
Have racing underway yet again. And there goes the XR8 pace car, and Lee Watkins puts the pedal to the metal, takes the green flag, and we're racing yet again with 12 or 11 laps remaining around a 1.83-kilometre Goodyear Thunderdome.
Now, this has really worked in favour of Darren McDonald, because he was one of the fastest cars out there in the last sort of 10 laps, and he was catching these lead 3, but obviously with this pace car session now he's bunched right up with him, so hopefully can make a bit of a move and get in there and mix it with him and make it an interesting end of the race.
Well, McDonald coming back from a broken hand, of course, only finished 13th at the first race of the season due to that hand injury, but has come back strong and currently sitting in 4th spot, and it is going to be a great race to the flag. 10 laps remaining. Phil Branagan.
Yeah, Watkins still holds the point, and so far, no one in the Commodore.
I don't know. I think Matthew White at the moment's looking good. I mean, the car's obviously got the speed, and he's just sitting there comfortably.
Oh, we've got problems on the racetrack. Darryl Speers on the back straight has blown an engine by the looks of it. The 31 I&V truck repair car is in all sorts of problems, and the Thunderdome veteran is heading towards the pit lane. No, it's a busted wheel. A wheel looks as though it's come off. That's what's smoking. A lot of sparks happening there, and it might even bring out a caution period. It depends on where he's going to stop. We're 45 laps down, And
he's very comfortable right there in the lead, and White is now going to get very serious because right behind him is Prety and McDonald, and McDonald's been very
Watkins takes him across the line with 46 laps down and 4 remaining.
And still he's very comfortable right there in the lead, and White is now going to get very serious because right behind him is Prety and McDonald, and McDonald's been very impressive running in this front 4 ever since that restart. And there's a piece of something or other. Is that a wheel nut or something?
Looks like a wheel nut.
Well, it could be, but Darren McDonald's at the moment has just gone under the side of Nathan Prety, so he's really making a move, and if he can get right up on the back of White, he may be able to make a difference to this race.
Well, we spoke about the effect of the downforce, etc., with Matty White putting the tail under the rear of the car in front of him. He said if the car in front is pushing a little bit, that means it's understeering in the turn. You stick your nose there. He said it actually makes the car in front go better because all of a sudden it makes it a little bit looser and turn around the bend a whole lot easier. So he's hoping that Lee Watkins' car isn't pushing. He's hoping it's a little bit loose and make it a little bit more loose and get him out of the way. This is going to be a great race. Just 2 and a bit laps remaining. Matty White is right on the tail of Lee Watkins. They're going to cross the start-finish line right now. 2 laps remaining.
So Ford versus Commodore. White doesn't want to wait because if he does, he's now got McDonald right behind him in 3rd place, and the Power Mac 44 machine has come from about 10 car lengths back in the last 2.5 laps, and he is now looking to make it a 3-car go going into the last 4 or 5 corners of this race.
Strong comeback for Darren McDonald after that wrist injury. The broken wrist has enabled him. There is Lee Watkins' wife on screen there. She's counting down the laps. She wants to see him come home. The white flag is out. We're on our last lap here for the Goodyear Auscars at the Goodyear Thunderdome, and it's Lee Watkins ahead of Matty White and Darren McDonald. They are going right down to the checkered flag, and Watkins has a car length over Matty White. The power of the Ford up the back straight here at the Goodyear Thunderdome. Darren McDonald starting to charge. He's now looking around for a bit of space to go around Matty White. But Watkins looks as though he's going to take it, Phil, and coming home a winner.
There goes the Ford getting up towards the checkered flag, and he takes it. Watkins just, and White holds out the car of McDonald by maybe 3/4 of a car length. And great race, but Lee Watkins took that one, Jason Bargwanna, and it was a great drive.
Oh,